I looked at myself like I was a failure if I did speak about me getting abused, and I felt like it was my problem, that I should have fixed it. And that's I chose to be with this person. I chose to have kids to this person. I chose to marry him. So for me, it felt like that was my decision. So it's my decision to fix it. It's my problem. That's how I saw it. And I was just too scared. And when I did speak to people, I spoke to like 1 or 2 people, they looked at me and they were like, well, you're the idiot for staying in it. So I held that, and I let that captivate me, and I let that control me. And so I stayed silent for that long. And it wasn't until I met Isaac and Peach Boxing, they started telling me, they started making me feel comfortable, because I had a wall. I wouldn't let anyone in. I had this tough persona, this ego, I didn't want to tell people. But it slowly got out, and then I just slowly started talking about it, because they would ask, what happened? Because they knew my ex-partner, because he was a boxer as well. So I would slowly tell Isaac, and then he was just like, hey, that's wrong. And then I'd tell the boxers at my gym, and then they'd be like, that is so wrong, you shouldn't have to go through that. And Isaac and Alina reassured me that it's okay. You can tell us, we're here to help, we're here to support you. And when I did speak, I felt free. And I thought, is this all it is? I didn't realize I thought it was so hard, but it wasn't. There was real people that wanted to really help me and be there for me. And that was my coach, his wife, and my team, Peach Boxing, And the greatest thing was, I never valued myself for so many years. Wasn't until I walked into Peach Boxing, and I must have been only there for a month or 2, and I'll never forget, and I still haven't forgot, Andre Mikhailovich. He was because I was talking to him about stuff that I had been through, and he goes, you should never have to put up with that, Mia. Do you know you're beautiful inside and out? I'm not looking at you like that. I just care about you like a sister, as a teammate, as a boxer. You're really beautiful, and know that you are. And I've always held that, because I didn't value myself. And then Jerome, he always makes sure that I'm okay if I need anything. And I was shocked. I was really shocked. These people are here to help me. They want to genuinely help me. Not just because what I've been through, but they cared about me, for me. Mm-hmm. So cool. That was, they made me, that's how I started valuing. And I started dropping my wall down, and I started appreciating myself, because they were telling me, and they weren't just telling me on the one-off, they would tell me all the time. And they would always, and Isaac and Alina would always tell me, we're here to help you. You're never going to go through that. That is just, they were shocked too. And it took me a while to get used to it, because it felt so weird, because I would never speak to people. So when they would tell me, I would be I had to reassure myself, oh my gosh, are these people being serious, or they're just lying to me? But they weren't. And they still tell me that till this day. And so that's what made me realize, it wasn't until this year when I started speaking about my story, I started to realize wow, we need to change how life, everyone in society only talks about success but doesn't talk about the struggles, because everyone's ashamed to talk about it. And if we don't change that, we need to change it, because we literally need to change and speak about those struggles. Because if we don't speak about it, then people are never going to change. They're always going to remain the same and just speak about success, because everyone thinks that, once you hit the top, I've won a world title, and they think everything's roses and it's great. It isn't. It's still challenging. It's still hard. You still got to work. You still got to wake up to 5 kids every day, and you still got to be a mum, and then you've got to go to work. So it's never easy, because people think it's easy. It's not. It's always challenging, and there's always obstacles constantly thrown at you. But it's how we get through them. Are you going to be an overcomer and get through it? Because that's how I feel. Like everything that gets thrown at me, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to overcome it and I'm going to get through it and I'm not going to give up. Because then what am I teaching my kids? What am I teaching our people? You know? And I want to teach people that it's use your voice, speak, and don't be afraid to be ashamed, because no one likes talking about a shame. Like people don't even like talking about they don't even like talking about when they're broke or homeless or they need food. People don't want to talk about it. And there's nothing ashamed about that, because we all go through it. We all go through some type of struggle, but it's just different scenarios. But we all go through any type of struggles, you know. And that's what people don't understand, because they just look at that. They just look at it like, oh, you're going through struggle because you're broke. But people can go through struggle at work. They can go through struggle in their sports, their hobbies, you know, and just in everyday life they can go. But it's all different types of scenarios.
Mandate.